Hi there, I wanted to do this video today to talk about how you can take control of your own health through a raw vegan diet and lifestyle, and actually do that on a pretty low budget. Because I know that when I sort of came to raw veganism, I'd actually looked at it and looked into it for about a year before I actually sort of took the plunge and became raw vegan myself. And one of the things that actually put me off doing it was the potential cost. Because I knew from my research on glyphosates and how they are carcinogenic and cause cancer and are sprayed all over sort of our fruit and veg, I knew that I needed to eat organic, and I wasn't sure how I could afford to actually eat that much organic fruit and vegetables to become a raw vegan. So that's why I've started to do these series of videos on raw veganism for people that don't have a high income, because I think it's really important that we take control of our own health and try to avoid taking pharmaceutical drugs as much as possible. I expect any of you who've seen raw vegan videos before will know that there's absolutely loads of information out there suggesting that you can cure disease, reverse disease, that you can come off pharmaceutical drugs and all the rest of it just simply by following a raw vegan diet. I myself have cured myself of a digestive problem that I had for a good 10 years just simply by going raw vegan. And like I said, you don't have to spend a lot of money. So I just thought I'd give out some information on what fruit and vegetables you can buy that don't tend to be that expensive and that are easily accessible. Although I don't recommend or favour people shopping in corporations, I do know that loads of people are actually at work. And they work so late that the only places that are still open when they get home are supermarkets, and so they are actually not able, unless it's the weekend, to access those sort of more ethical health stores and organic food shops. And also not every town actually has one. So these videos are designed to kind of appeal to ordinary people and to empower them in their choices to get healthy. So really, in terms of staple fruit and vegetables that you can have at home that aren't too expensive, I'm going to run through a list, and I use all of these myself on a daily basis. And what I tend to do is kind of rotate them or add a bit of the more expensive ones into a kind of base salad of the cheaper ones. That's the best way of going about it. So the first one would be carrots. You can get an organic bag of carrots for about £1. Organic lemons, about £1. Organic onions are about £1, and so's organic garlic. Organic bananas are just over £1. Celery and mushrooms, again, about £1. Romaine lettuce, which is great as a base for pretty much all salads, is just over £1. So they can be used. That can be used kind of as a base for everything. So you can have like a large base to the salad of romaine lettuce, and then you can add in the more expensive ones like kale and spinach, which tend to be about £1.80 each a bag, so they're more expensive, or sometimes £1.50 depending on where you go. So you can add less of those in with more romaine lettuce, if that makes sense. You can then layer that in with grated carrots. You can mix in raw mushrooms. Cucumber is another one, that's about £1, so you can slice that up. You can slice celery. You can mix these with various seeds and berries, so you can get dried goji berries, for instance, which are really nutritious, and they go with just about everything, and they make everything taste a little bit sweet if you're the sort of person that likes kind of quite sweet food. So they're great for that. Dressing wise, you can use lemons, you can use limes, you can use oranges. You can actually squirt the juice from those over the top of salads. You can also use apple cider vinegar organic, which is what I use every day, because that's really good for the body, and it kind of cleans the blood and it helps to alkalise the body. That's about £1.80 for organic apple cider vinegar, so I really recommend that you use that every day. You can crush raw garlic up, mix it with apple cider vinegar and a tiny bit of organic oil. You can now get organic hemp oil, organic olive oil, organic rapeseed oil, just about any kind of oil actually that you can imagine, but don't use too much. In fact, loads of raw foodists these days are advocating no oil whatsoever, but they do tend to live in warmer climates, and a lot of these raw foodists actually live in beautiful places like California, where not only do they have more access to fresh organic fruit and vegetables, but potentially more money. I mean, if you look at some of the kind of kitchen backgrounds, these sort of lifestyles are unobtainable to most people, which is why I sort of felt so strongly that I needed to move my channel in this direction, and really sort of empower people to feel that they can completely turn their health around, and they can do so through a raw vegan diet. Please do your own research, have a look into it, have a look into, how many diseases can be reversed through a raw vegan diet, particularly, the more obvious ones like heart disease, high cholesterol, diabetes. There's loads and loads of stuff out there reporting that nearly all disease can be cured within 6 weeks, on a diet of raw fruit and vegetables and various other medicinal herbs. So please do your own research and look into it. I cannot really advocate the diet highly enough. It's totally changed my life around, and I spoke in my last video about how I feel that my kind of vibration has raised on an energetic level, and I just feel more able to cope with life and what it throws at me. And, interpersonally, I just feel much more relaxed in my dealings with people and much more myself. It's really kind of empowered me into a state of self-love, which is just so important, because that's the way to not only turn your life around, but to, empower other people. So important to be the change that you want to see. So these are the reasons that kind of, really compels me to turn my videos more in this direction and talk more about raw nutrition and how important it is. Something else that you can do is look into sprouting. That's something that you can do at home. And if you're doing that, then you're not only getting raw foods, but you're getting live raw foods, because you're in control of when they're picked. It's so important to be getting food as fresh as possible, because most people don't know that basically when you pick something, it's losing its nutritional value by the minute. So within 24 hours, fruit and vegetables have lost up to 50% of their nutrient value. So that's something to bear in mind. Grow your own food where you can. Do some sprouting at home. If not, try and use markets and organic markets where you can actually ask, particularly farmers markets where it's been actually picked by the people that are selling it, and you can ask them, when was it picked. But if not, and like I said, I understand that a lot of people are limited in time because they're working all the time and they're having to use supermarkets. Please don't feel bad or feel that you're failing in any way. You can still take control of your own health, and you can still do that at a fairly low cost. I spend about £10 a day on my fruit and vegetables, but I do believe that it could be done for less if you were sticking mainly to those staples. More expensive things like, for instance, mangoes, because they've got a thick skin, you could get away without eating those organic all the time. So if wherever you shop, even if it's a supermarket, if they have those on offer, then do buy them, because they are okay. They've got a thick skin. Same with avocados. You can buy those non-organic, although they do tend to be really high fat. So if you're working manually or you're living in a cold climate, which I consider we are in the UK, then you can eat them. If you're of a low body weight, for instance, you could eat safely up to 3 a day avocados. But if you're a kind of higher body weight or you're doing a sedentary job, then I wouldn't recommend more than sort of 1 every 2 days. So half an avocado a day would be fine. one thing that you might notice when you're transitioning into raw foods is that you might get this kind of sudden hunger pangs which just take you over. It's good to have yourself prepared for moments like that. So something that's really, really useful to deal with these hunger pangs, when they kind of come on really, really fast, is bananas. So have loads of those at home. Like I said, they're cheap. You can get a bunch of about 6 bananas for just over £1. So have a load of those at home. Raw food bars are really helpful if you have a sudden hunger attack, but I think it's important to limit them, because although there's nothing nasty in them, I tend to use the brand Naked. A lot of them do have cacao in them, and I think it's something that we should limit because it is a stimulant and it does contain caffeine. So just kind of be mindful of not eating too many of the bars, and maybe rotate. If you get a kind of hunger attack, rotate between using those and using bananas. Potentially avocados, but like I said, be careful with the fat. Anyway, I hope that this video has been useful as a kind of introduction to the staples that you can have at home when starting your raw food journey. And if you like the video, please subscribe, and please hit the like button because it helps to get the videos seen. Thanks a lot for watching.